keep going, and we will move on to users can create user stories within a feature. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look. So we have our feature. This is my description of feature 1, and then we are able to add a story. Okay. So create feature modal component and make it open on click of a feature box. So, oops, our session expired, which that worked nicely. All right. It kind of looks like that the header didn't change when the session expired. So I think we want to, if the session expires, clear the local, we want to clear the context for user. So I'm gonna put this in bugs. I know we were working off of the bugs in the to-do main list, but I thought it was getting kind of messy. So I am going to add a bugs thing here, and we're gonna say clear, we're gonna say header does not update to log in / create an account when a session ends on redirect. All right. I'm going to leave that to kind of a later issue, and I'm going to focus on reviewing my user can create a user story. All right, so let's go back into to-do list, and it's saying we can click on feature, and it's going to open the feature modal, and that is what is happening. So nice, that works. All right, next is create feature and description header, which we have right here. Let's go ahead and shrink this, and it still looks good. Let's go ahead and click. So that still looks good. That still looks good. And that still looks good. Yeah, okay. So the only other thing is that it looks like this is aligned with the top. So I think we're gonna wanna move that up, and we'll wanna check on the other ones too. So let's go back and look if we have any super long. Yeah, so let's start there. Okay, so this would be the feature or the project title. Let's go up. Project name, okay, icon, button, and those go into a box with align items center. So I'm gonna delete that, and that looks good like that, but let's go ahead and look at a short one, and it appears to look good too. I am gonna go ahead and all right, so I can already see that there is going to be a bug when we get to that, so I'm going to fix it here. So, and then let's do variant filled. Okay, that looks right, and it should be line height 22. So we're going to do that with the height here on our heading. We're going to say line height is going to be 32 pixels. All right, so that way it's centered. And then if we do a longer one, it's centered on the top line. It's always centered on the top line, okay? So then when we open up our feature, oh, we don't have a feature on this one. So then when we open up our feature, we wanna do the same thing here, okay? So let's go to our feature modal, and we gotta find heading. We're going to add line height is going to be 32 pixels. All right, and we're going to go up, and we're going to say the box that it's going in is not align items center, so we want that to be on the top. And then we are going to want to take a look at one that's only one line long, this. And that also looks good. Let's look at it when it's wider. That looks good, and that looks good. Okay. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to look then at, we have our drop down with the user story header and form body. So let's take a look. We have add a user story. When I click on it, it gives me the form body. If I create user story, it's going to say user story name is required, which is what we want. So I can do test user story 1. And then I'm going to say this is my description of test user story 1. All right, I'm going to try to create. All right, that looks good. And then that gives me my drop down with my description and my task in there. All right, so then let's go ahead and add another one where we're to say test user story 2. I'm going to leave the description blank. All right, and if you see here, we are going to have an issue. Our issue is it doesn't say, like, there's no description. So we are going to want to add that there. So I'm going to steal it from here. And I'm going to go into my user story details accordion, and I'm going to find where my description is. If I'm on the right component, so that's user story name, story status, name, story status, delete user story, users, okay, or description here. So I'm going to replace it with this box instead, and I'm going to do, was it just description? All right, there is no user story description. All right, so that has a description. Oh wait, that doesn't have a user story. I'm getting confused all over the place now. Where are my user stories? Okay, there. Okay, so this one has a description and this one doesn't have a description. Let's go take a look at what happened at the feature that doesn't have a description, because I think we want it to have a ... That feature has a description. There is no description. Okay, so let's go back and take a look at that. Where is there's no description? So let me, so did I type that in? Let me, okay, so I must have typed that in, which is kind of silly of me. I'm actually going to go ahead and delete this feature. Or let me just edit this. Oh, interesting. Okay, so did I test? All right, so let's go ahead and just add a feature without one. So I'm going to say test feature 3, add. Oh, and it does say there's no description. Okay, so we need to find this, where this is coming from, which is very odd. There is no description, but that should come up here. Oh, it's in feature box. Oh, because I'm passing it in. Okay, so I actually want to do this. It's mad at me. Description. String or let's do optional. It's still mad. Okay, so string or undefined. So it is saying type string or undefined is not assignable to type string. Type undefined. Okay, so I think I'll just flip it. And instead of here, oh, because I'm doing the wrong description. Okay, that makes sense. So let's go here. Let's go to feature modal. And we are going to edit this one and say it is optional. Feature all right, because wow, I am messing up this all over the place. This is cracking me up. Okay, find the right thing. It's feature description, which is string or undefined. Okay, now feature modal. Okay, we are looking for here, update feature description with description. So then we also need this to be undefined. Nope, I guess we're not talking about this description. String or undefined. String or undefined. Update feature description. Name or description, value string or undefined. Whoop! All right, TypeScript, am I right? Okay, so let's take a look now. So that has a description, that has a description. This one does not have a description. I'm not gonna lie though, I do like the ellipses, so I'm actually going to go back and add that in. And then that also means I need to add it in here. And then I also need to add it in here. Okay, so let's add a user story. I'm gonna say test user story 1. We're gonna add it without a description. All right, open it. There is no description. That looks good. Okay, we're making headway. All right, so adding a user story we're able to do, and it should persist. So let's go ahead and refresh our page to make sure it's getting saved in the database, and we have test user story, and it's still there. So that makes sense. So we have one user story here. So if we look, we have one total here. Long text feature has 0 user stories. That is correct. This has 0 user stories. That is correct. 0 user stories. That is correct. And 1, 2 user stories. That is correct. Okay, so that all looks good. let's go ahead and add a user story, and we want to make sure that we are getting our success toast. All right, so your user story has been created. Very nice. All right, so I feel good about this one then. So I'm gonna go ahead and move this from QA to done, and then let's take a look at creating our developer task within a user story, okay? So let's take a look. We want to be able to add list of developer tasks to user story drop-down body. Okay, so drop-down body, yep, we have our developer task list right here. We have the add a task drop-down. We're on click, it's gonna open. All right, and then about that, it's just creating the task. So if I create the task, it's going to say that the name is required. So I am going to say developer, well, let's do convention test developer task 1, create task. All right, and it creates it and closes the modal for us. So we have now our test developer task 1. The only thing is this looks like it is not centered to me, so I'm going to add that to, I'm going to go ahead and add a list. I'm going to say UI issues. I'm going to put it next to bugs. And we're going to say developer task name does not look centered vertically. And we'll take a look at that. All right, let's add another task. Test developer task 2, and then I am going to add some text to it, try to make it longer. All right, that looks good. Let's go ahead and check out the responsiveness of it. All right. That looks pretty good. I don't love the buttons for the user story, but to be honest, I'm not sure I have a better solution right now. And that still looks good. All right. So that all looks good. That scrolls to be nice. That opens and closes. All right, so let's go ahead and read our things. We already did. All right, and then let's verify that we have a successful, so test developer task 3. Create, your developer task has been created, and here it is. So other than it doesn't look super centered to me, I feel pretty good about this. And we will go ahead and fix that UI issue in the next video.